This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Wednesday, the 23rd of October. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. Anyway, if you haven't read it yet, have a read of my post yesterday afternoon because it's all relevant today. We've still got this nice looking double top here. It still might play out. I'm not really thinking in terms of a big retracement here, but could we see some more downside? Yes. Where would the targets be? Well, if we were to see a sustained break below the 58.52 area on ES, we would be looking at a target range, but the minimum target really would be, hang on 1 second. All right, the minimum target would be 57.75. And 57.85, and we could see that. Now I've got the rising support in about the 58.06 area. That's been rising the last couple of days while ES has been going sideways. So we would need to break down below that, and I wouldn't be that astonished, and I don't think it would be a huge technical break if we did see that. If we were to start seeing some significant breaks below the daily number bands, that would get more interesting. But at the moment, we are nowhere near that. All right, let's have a look at NQ. NQ, no current divergence, going sideways, very boring. Haven't even got a double top set up here. RTY, this is the one that's really been retracing this week. We haven't got any positive divergence, but actually, maybe we do. If we've retested this low and it looks like it, we've got a possible 60-minute buy signal brewing. But normally, I would expect it to make it down to this 30 level for a full test. So I'd be looking for at least a little more downside, but it needn't be much. That could get a 60-minute buy signal brewing of decent quality. On Dow, I was talking about a possible head and shoulders forming on Dow. It looks a little unbalanced, and you could read this actually as a possible level top, but this is trying to break down. And if it does continue to break down, then we're looking at, hang on, wait a second, on the sustained break below this level here, which is 42.940, we would be looking at a target ideally in about, I think really about the 42, 300 to 350 area. That gets us down to this kind of area here. We've got big baseline support here down here at the monthly pivot, which is only the monthly pivot for another week, of course, and this big support level here at 42.100. We will see how that goes, but we are breaking down from that slightly today. We will see how that goes. It's not the only pattern that's breaking down. We've also got a nice looking double top on DAX, and that's broken down with a target basically around the 19,250 to 19,300 area. Could that make target? Yes. Pretty good. Would get it close to the monthly pivot. I wouldn't be surprised to see that more downside, but to be honest, it's not a great setup to see it, but it's not awful either. So I think really in terms of the overall picture here, I think we're likely looking at bullish consolidation before we go up, but we could go down a bit first. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts on those. We've still got an RSI 5 sell signal fixed here. We've not seen any meaningful downside here, so this isn't actually heading towards the target. If we were to see a couple of days head down to this trend line, maybe slightly below, then that sell signal might actually make target. Looking at SPY, on the hourly chart, no current divergence. Nice looking little level top, as you can see here, hasn't broken down yet. Nothing on the 15-minute. We'll see how it goes. All right, looking at the Qs. The Qs we've got. The main thing I noted this on my post yesterday was we've seen these 1, 2, 3 tests of the daily middle band in the last few weeks, and they've all held pretty much perfectly. So if we were to see that breakdown from it, that could potentially open up more targets to the downside. So that is a big support level I'm watching. And on the Qs, that's at 489.45 at the moment. No divergence on the hourly chart, but a nice looking little rising wedge here. And you can see we overthrew that very slightly here. Could we head down to the flag support? Sorry, the wedge support? Yeah, we could. We'll see. Dow, we've still got an RSI 5 sell signal fixed on Dow, Dyer, and we will see how that goes. No divergence on the hourly, but the head and shoulders that I was looking at forming on dia here is the one that's breaking down currently on YM. So this is probably going to break down at the open too, and we will see how it goes. But the target wouldn't be that far away from a test of this rising support trend line, and that makes it a more credible target. Doesn't mean it needs to make target, but it makes it a more credible target. And currently I've got that and about the 418.2 area. We will see. All right, let's have a look at IWM. I'll do a quick review at the end, but drop into the comments because I know we've just had a couple of people join. Drop into the comments if you want me to do a review of the ones other than ES and SPX at the end. Okay, IWM, we've got on the 15-minute, we've got an RSI 14 buy signal fixed. That still looks pretty good, and I don't think that's going to fail this morning. On the hourly chart, if we do see a retest of the low this morning, and of course we are seeing that retest of the low, we've seen that retest of the low, I think, on the RTY chart, and we're probably going to see that on IWM as well. We could get possible hourly RSI 5 and RSI 14 buy signals brewing. That doesn't necessarily mean much in the way of the rest of the market, because really this has been going to its own drum really over the last few days, but it could be a sign that we're pretty close to a reversal back up on all of them. On the daily chart, no current divergence and no prospect of getting any. We tested the daily level band at the low yesterday, and that obviously is a good level to find support, and we could be finding support there. All right, looking at DAX. DAX, I've got a tiny little head and shoulders, which is breaking down, double top rather. And on Nikkei, this is just kicking around, but I would note that we've broken back below the daily middle band there. This could be opening up for more downside. We will see. I'm watching this support test here with great interest, and that's at the 200 DMA at 38,202. All right, let's move on to the others. Let's have a look at DX, where we've reached, I was talking yesterday about the possibility of reaching 104.1. I've got a target there, and might be a bit higher. I'm just going to have a very quick look at that. Bear with me a second, because I think we may be reaching a big trend line here. And actually, I'm probably going to post the video of me talking about this a few weeks ago, the possible test here. And that is this trend line here. And I've got that in about the 104.7 area. We are really close to reaching that. It's an RTH chart now. It is. Well, that is great. Sorry, it only used to be end of day, but now it seems to be doing the intraday as well. This is a very important trend line. This is the trend line I was saying might be reached when we were down here, because we had this really nice support trend line, and usually with a trend line like that, you will find that there are two trend lines and they form a pattern. So we're getting pretty close to the one I suggested would be the obvious one, which is the test of this trend line here. We will see, but we've got very possible resistance that we could find there. We've got a possible RSI 5 sell signal brewing here on the daily chart. Nothing at the moment, it looks like, but I am wondering if we might see a hard reversal when we get there, and we're pretty damn close. Looking at ZB. ZB is continuing to trickle down. Could find a low here, not much indication that we're going to. CL tried to break up over this little double bottom. It wasn't a great looking double bottom, to be honest, and I am wondering if this is failing into the low. There is a lot of talk about Israel retaliating against Iran in the next few days. This could potentially seriously disrupt energy markets. So while I am talking about downside targets here, and I like the downside targets, we need to bear that in mind, because if Iran does things like start attacking other oil producers in the Middle East, then obviously we could get an oil shock, and that could basically trump any chance that we've got here. NG, we've been seeing a bit of a rally here. The buy signal failed and then made the target that would have been the target. I'm not really expecting to see a lot of upside here. I'm on the bigger picture, I'm still looking downwards. But it wouldn't be, if we see a big energy shock, of course, we could see this break up too. On GC, GC making newer highs, 60-minute sell signal fixed and has delivered absolutely nothing. This is pulling back a bit because we've been seeing a thrust up in the dollar today. So I'm not really seeing much of a case for a big reversal here. We'll see. 60-minute sell signal is fixed and might actually make target on a bit of a reversal here. We've made it up to 35. I do have a target up potentially in the 37 area. On HG, we're retesting this low, haven't quite made the retest. We could be setting up for a double bottom here, or we could be expanding the wedge again, but I would be a little surprised to see that. But I have seen that happen before. You can expand a wedge 2 or 3 times before it breaks up. It's already expanded once. 2 is rarer. We'll see how that goes. All right, let's have a look at the Euro chart. Wait a second. Euro chart, we had a larger head and shoulders here with a target which was well below relatively where the the double bottom target on DX was. This has now made the full target. Not seeing much in the way of positive divergence, but I would note that we've now no longer got any targets below. Pound trickling down. I think a lot of this is waiting for the budget in the UK over the next few days. We will see how that goes. There is talk of a big tax raid. Of course, that could help the bond markets. We'll see. Everyone's so indebted nowadays. I'm going to be writing about that on a big post about bonds in the next week or two. USD JPY, we had a sell signal that's failed and it's thrusting higher. We do have a target a long way above. The USD CAD target has pretty much, on the other hand, been made. No current divergence. Australian dollar trickling down. We're in quite a decent resistance area. That could hold. No current positive divergence. And NZ trickling down as well. So we will see how those go. On KC, KC still wondering about a possible flag here. Don't really want to see this go any lower if this is a flag. But this could be a double bottom forming. Go lower, and I'll be looking for a retest this low here in about the 243 area. Looking at SB, nice looking bull flag, and no reason to think that it isn't a bull flag, holding support at the monthly pivot. CC is heading lower. We've got a head and shoulders here. It's broken down with a target at a retest this low here, which is in the 68.50 area. Quite a lot of support there. Might hold if it gets there. No reason at the moment to think that it won't get there. Looking at the cotton chart, broke up from a double bottom. I haven't marked in the arrows, but the target basically is at a retest of this high. And I'm thinking it will probably reach that target. On wheat, possible bull flag forming here. Not as nice as I would like it to be, but we will see. I'm hoping that a lower low here might give me a decent trend line. It hasn't yet. On corn, we had a nice looking little double bottom that has more than made target. It's testing the monthly pivot and reversing there at the moment. A 60-minute sell signal has fixed. On soy, nice little rally here. This could be an overall bear flag. I am wondering about seeing more downside on all of the grains here. On lumber, still looks like a long bull flag forming, and this has been really boring lately, holding the monthly pivot as support. Live cattle, we rejected back up into this high. This could be a double top, but my lean is it's probably just going to continue higher. Lean hogs is continuing higher. So we'll see. All right, great. Let's have a look at comments. Can I read you QQQ? No problem at all. Okay, right. Let's just have a quick look at the ES and NQ first and RTY because they're the key. Well, actually, no. We'll just have a very quick look at all of the main US ones. Okay, nice looking double top here. There's nothing really saying this is going to break down, but if we see a breakdown elsewhere, then we may well break down from here. That would open up this possible rising support trend line in the 58.05 area and potentially lower. I've got a target. A full target would be down at about the 57.85 area. On NQ, no topping pattern at all. Barely been moving, and that's because the biggest retrace this week has been on RTY. RTY, we are very, very close to forming a potential 60-minute buy signal that would be high quality, and we would also have that on the IWM chart. So I'm watching that with great interest. YM, we've got a little head double top here, which is, double top or head and shoulders, could be read either way, which is breaking down with the target down here in about the 42.50 area. That could deliver. Nothing compelling saying that it's really going to, but we do also have this DAX double top that has broken down. And is looking pretty good at the moment. Looking quickly at the Qs. We've got on the daily chart, I'm watching the daily middle band at 489.45. I mentioned this on my post yesterday, but if you have a look, since it broke up over in September, we've had we've had three back tests of the daily middle band, and all of them have held pretty much perfectly. That means that this is a very significant level, and if we see a break below, then that could be signaling further downside. But until that is broken, that is good daily support, and actually that's been holding more or less exactly the last three times. On the hourly chart, no current divergence, but we do have this rising wedge. The rising wedge, just looking at it closer, it's a nicely formed wedge. We had nice three touches here, very slight overthrow. This is suggesting we could see a breakdown. If we were to touch this trend line, that would be currently at about the 481 area. And I've got a decent possible head and shoulder neckline, the 477 area. There's nothing really compelling to say that we're going to see that kind of downside. There's not a single sell signal on on NDX or the Qs. But I am wondering about that as a potential target. And if we go through the daily middle band, and you would need to do that because we'd need to get through 489.45, then that would become a more credible target. We shall see. All right, my pleasure as always, guys. I'll have everything posted as soon as possible. I'll catch you guys later.